okay, that when you look at the squad, they've got some talent, okay? Like, they've got talent. And I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe in the Sacramento Kings? I think they've really gone hard on defense. If you look at every position, besides Sabonis, and I think Fox is a better defender than people, want to give credit to. But besides Sabonis, and I know Keegan Murray, he doesn't project to be a great defender, but this is a team that has defense at every position. You got point guard Davion Mitchell and Davion Mitchell, lockdown defender. De'Aaron Fox, when he tries, is pretty decent at defense. You got Matthew Dellavedova, who I hope makes the roster. And then you go over to the shooting guards. Kevin Huerter, when he tries, can play defense. Same thing with Terrence Davis. I've never seen Malik Monk really play defense. But they have Keon Ellis on a two-way. And then you have Chima Muniki. I don't know if he'll make the roster, but if he does, they gave him a bit of money. And they have KZ Okapala, who they've been starting defenders. They have Kate Bazemore, if he makes the roster, another defender. Harrison Barnes, another defender. All guys, multiple of these guys have been in the Golden State Warriors system, so they're going to be playing very similar defense to the Warriors. Chemzi Metu can play defense. You got Rashawn Holmes, play defense. Alex Lynn's a rim protector, and Kieta, rim protector on two-way. What are your thoughts? Am I being ostentatious? Am I being a little too excited for this roster? Or are you in agreement that this is a team that a lot of defense? I think they're I'm not acting here like, the Sacramento Kings are going to be a top 3 seed. No, I think they could be like the 6th, at best. But I think they could be like they're 100% a playing team. But I think they could be a team that could be the 6th seed. Like, they could be like the 15th best offense and the 15th best defense. Like, they could be middle of the pack team.
Yeah, I think that getting your defense to around 15, I think would be a huge success and a huge step in the right direction for Sacramento. I think in order for Sacramento to get into like the 6th seed, a guaranteed spot, I think they are more of a playing team right now. But I think you would just need, obviously your 2 stars, Sabonis and Fox, to do their things. I think you need Keegan Murray to be a Rookie of the Year candidate, which the way he's looked in Summer League and preseason, it looks like they have no issues with that. Harrison Barnes, keep doing your thing. Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, just do your jobs, do your roles. Davion Mitchell, keep ascending. There's this team is a lot deeper, I think, than a lot of people think. I don't know if they'll be a 6 seed just because of how good the West is and how young and kind of new this whole scheme system is. So, to me, they're more of a playing team waiting on, the further development of your draft talent. But then, they're probably looking at stars. Free agency isn't as good as you would think it's going to be this upcoming year. But I think if you have Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan Murray, if Keegan turns into a star, I don't think, you don't need a star. You don't need another max contract guy. You don't need a max guy on your team. So I think Sacramento this year needs to just make the play-in tournament, maybe make it interesting. If they could get out of the play-in and get into the first round of the playoffs, even better. But they shouldn't have too many issues as long as they win to find a guy that is willing to come on over. Even if it's a player like Jeremy Grant, I think offers this team a lot. So they'll be a fun team to watch. They're going to go through growing pains, but Fox and Sabonis year 2, year 0.5 to 1.5, I guess. I think they're going to look pretty good. And, Fox is underrated in his own regard, and Sabonis is underrated as well, just because of I don't like using the word small market, but, Indiana and Sacramento the last couple of years haven't necessarily been, winning like crazy. So I like Sacramento a lot this year. And Mike Brown's awesome, and he's, it's year 1. So establish a culture and see what happens.
I agree, and I have high expectations. The one smart thing that they did was they brought in a lot of guys who played for the Warriors, who've played for Mike Brown. And if they didn't play for the Warriors, they played for Mike Brown in Cleveland. And I think the whole thing is, hey, let's implement a scheme that half the guys on the roster are already aware how to do it. And they brought in, not only did they bring in defenders, they got shooters. We live in a league where it rides and dies on shooting. And I think the biggest question on this roster for me is just how the front court's going to look. I think the rest of the roster makes sense. I love the point guard depth. I like the shooting guard rotation of Herder, Terrence Davis, and Malik Monk. Monk being the sixth man. Then they got, the wings. I like that. Of Barnes and Murray headlighting there. And then they got some guys back there. And then they got some stretch fours. But my question is with the front court, are we going to see a Sabonis Rashawn Holmes? Are we going to be just Sabonis and Barnes? Is it going to be, like what is he going to be? Okay. And the reason why I think it is just going to be Sabonis, and then they have Harrison Barnes, probably maybe Harrison Barnes and Murray, and then probably Kevin Herter and De'Aaron Fox, because that replicates a very similar lineup that the Warriors have run, with Herter playing the Klay Thompson role, Barnes playing the role that he did for the Warriors, and Keegan Murray probably playing just a stretch. Maybe even Harrison Barnes playing the Andre Iguodala role, and then you have Keegan Murray playing the Harrison Barnes role, and then you have De'Aaron Fox doing his own thing. Not saying that he's going to be Steph Curry, but doing his own thing because he's one of the fastest point guards in the league. And Sabonis I know he's not the rim protector that Andrew Bogut was, but people don't realize is Andrew Bogut was not what he used to be, what he was like when he first came into the league, when he had his success with the Warriors. And Bogut, he only played a handful of seasons with the Warriors. It felt like he played way longer. Like he played technically 5 years, but it was a 4-year stretch. And in that 4-year stretch, he was a guy, he averaged, almost 2 blocks a game. And I know that is such a big stretch for Sabonis. I could see Sabonis being a guy who averages more steals than blocks, which he's done for a majority of his career, I believe. But if they can use Sabonis like they did with Andrew Bogut, have him pass out the elbow, just grab rebounds, and especially that he can shoot, kind of use him as their Andrew Bogut, Draymond Green mix, not as defensively versatile as either of those players, but offensively is what I mean.
He's an underrated passer.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is a guy who's going to average at least 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists next year.
Nice.
Like they're going to take I just want to see Mike Brown's such a smart defensive coach. How is he going to utilize Sabonis creatively for him to be respectable defensively? Because with Sabonis, we've talked about this. Sabonis has actually been a plus defender in the NBA for a season, I think 2 seasons in the NBA. For his career, he actually has a defensive rating of 108. My apology. From 2016 to 2020, he averaged a defensive rating of 106. And I know defensive rating is just such a skewed stat. Those were good defensive teams. And this past year, he had 113, which was pretty bad. And the year before, 109, which is average. But he's a plus defender for his career. But my thing is I want to look back at his international stats. Has Sabonis ever actually been a rim protector? Has he ever had success protecting the rim at any level of basketball? And that is a straight up no. And his best season protecting the rim was his last year at Gonzaga, where he averaged 0.9 blocks per game. But he was a guy that has shown he's adept at getting steals. And I wonder, like, rim protection isn't needed, but can he contest the shots, make it difficult for people, And I know he's limited because he has his wingspan. He's 6'11" with a 6'11" wingspan, so.
That's why you got guys like Holmes and Maytu and even a little Trey Lyles.
What's your projection for this team? Are they legit?
Well, what's the definition of legit? Is it legit finals contenders? Because absolutely
not. Legit playoff team.
Yeah, I don't like that the play-in's existing thing. So I think if the play-in tournament wasn't in, I wouldn't necessarily put all my money on them being a top 8 seed. But I think they'll be between 7 and 11, and
I think 6 and 10.
That's completely fair.
Because they could be way better. Because if they're 15 and 15, like offensive defensive rankings, they're 100% the 6th seed.
Yeah, it's just a huge improvement from last season and years prior when they were bottom 5 in defense. But
We've
I
seen
think
it
for
before.
them they'll be the 8th or 9th seed. If I had to put a specific projection on it,
What's something that you're the biggest weakness of this team, in your opinion?
it's got to be defense, and it's probably more reliable defensive guys. I don't, like the backcourt. When we look at the backcourt, what kind of jump is Davion Mitchell going to take here? Is he going to have a breakout season? I think they're just continuing to fill the holes. They're a deeper team than they've been in years prior, and they're still relatively deep. But, how much are those guys at the bottom of your roster? What's their impact going to be? I think that's going to be a pretty big thing for them. Like Terrence Davis, Kent Bazemore to me sucks. So Kent Bazemore doesn't offer me anything. I hope I'm wrong. Alex Len, KZ, Trey Lyles, Maytu, Rashawn Holmes. I think it's going to come down to, how much are they actually going to produce for you? Because on paper, they all should produce enough. So I don't want to call them like where they don't have enough talent, because I don't think it's that cut and dry. But when I'm looking at Sacramento, I don't think that they have enough firepower necessarily quite yet, which is totally fine. And I don't think that's what they were aiming for.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely something interesting to think about. Like, I think they do have the firepower. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic because I like Mike Brown. But yeah, I think one thing, it does require players taking jump, and it is asking a lot of them. But I am optimistic. We've seen teams have turnaround. Hey, look at the New Orleans Pelicans last year. Willie Green.
Yeah, they just were a lot more.
Look at the Boston Celtics first year.
A lot more top heavy, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely the Pistons are something interesting to watch. I think they'll be a fun team to watch. I think this will probably be the better. Did I just say the Pistons? The Kings. My apology, Kings fans. I think the Pistons will be fun to watch, but the Kings are going to definitely be a team fun to watch, and it'll be definitely something to look out for. And I just think this will be one of the best Kings teams since DeMarcus Cousins' prime.
Nice, dude.
Now let's talk about something else, and that is the Houston Rockets. Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. look like they are the motherfucking truths for this Houston Rockets team. And now, with the amount of firepower on this squad, it's